We're the Choose, and if South Korea is on your list, you're in the right place. After exploring Seoul and Busan, these are the travel tips that'll make your trip smoother, cheaper, and a whole lot easier, while helping you skip the mistakes that most people make. Ready to plan your perfect South Korea trip?
What's up, explorers? Welcome back to our channel. We're the Choose here from Choose to Explore, where we teach you guys how to see the world
and save $1.
So we decided to go to South Korea because we saw a really good flight deal from New York on a direct flight to Seoul, South Korea. Before booking this flight, we didn't know much about Korea except for K-pop and K-beauty, but after spending about a week there, we learned that there is so much to offer, and South Korea needs to be on your bucket list, guys. It is amazing.
So South Korea is efficient, it's safe, and packed with culture, but if it's your first trip there, there's a few things that you will want to know before you land. From public etiquette to how to get around without Google Maps, this is everything that we wish we knew before we went to South Korea.
So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this one, guys.
So first thing we're going to talk about is how to get to South Korea.
So we're based in New York, and one of the things that we loved about getting to Korea is that Korean Air flies direct from New York and a lot of other airports in the United States, especially if you're in the West Coast. Now from New York, that direct flight is just shy of 16 hours. So we flew with Korean Air, and our airport and our onboard experience was amazing. The food was great, there were comfortable seating, and those 16 hours really was not as bad as you might think it is. So Korean Air is one of the founding members of the SkyTeam Alliance, and if you are familiar with the SkyTeam, that is going to be Delta, Virgin Atlantic, Air France, KLM, Singapore. It's going to be a lot of amazing international carriers.
So we were able to fly for less than 30,000 points and $30 per person using our Virgin Atlantic miles.
And actually, Virgin Atlantic is one of our favorite airlines to transfer points to, and that's because they frequently have transfer bonuses. So at the time that we transferred points over, we got a 40% transfer bonus, so we went for significantly less than the retail price. And even if you aren't using miles or points, Korean Air is going to be one of the cheapest ways to get from the US to Asia.
So we found that South Korea is an affordable entry point into Asia.
And once you're in Asia, especially Southeast Asia, you're able to hop around from one country to another for under $100 per flight. So here's a see the world, save $1 hack. You really just want to get into Asia. Find the cheapest way to get there. For us, it was flying Korean Air and getting to South Korea. And from there, say you want to go to Japan, which is a hot place. Say you want to go to Philippines, which is a hot place. Say you want to go to Thailand. You can typically find super cheap tickets to get from South Korea to those other destinations. As you'll see in this video, we'll show you that there is so much to see and do in South Korea as well.
So now let's get into entry requirements for South Korea. So as US citizens, you will need a valid passport because it is international, of course, and US passport holders actually get 90 days visa-free. However, you will need to fill out a KETA form, which was a simple, easy process, and it didn't cost anything. We'll have a link to that in the description below.
The next thing that we're going to talk about is when is the best time to go to South Korea.
So one thing about South Korea is that it has all 4 seasons, so it really depends on what your preference is.
First, let's start at the top of the year. Wintertime in South Korea is cold. Now, if you love the winter, you love snow, then this could be a perfect time for you to go. Also, there tends to be a lot less tourists because they're not going to be out exploring in the cold, so you may see lower lines and cheaper prices on doing things, but take that with a grain of salt because it is very cold. Now, our favorite time to visit is going to be in those shoulder seasons. Think about your springtime and fall time.
So during those times, it will be warmer during the day and it can get cooler at night. So definitely just bring some layers. So originally we purchased flights to visit South Korea in March, and then we realized that it's going to be cold, and that's just simply not my preference. So we ended up moving our trip to May, which is technically the shoulder season, and it had warmer temperatures.
And we actually chose a great time because it was warmer weather than in March, but also was an intermittent shoulder season. This is because a couple weeks before that was cherry blossom season. So everybody and their mother was between Japan and South Korea to see the beautiful cherry blossom trees.
So we visited in May in search of warmer weather, but if you're chasing cherry blossom season, then you're going to want to visit during late March to mid-April.
Also, I do want to note that summers in South Korea are going to be very, very hot.
Very hot and very humid.
So while the Queen would have loved that, I could not deal with that summertime.
That's why we compromised on May.
But this all depends on what you want on your vacation.
Yes, there's fun things to do all year round. So now let's go into what you should pack for your trip to South Korea.
If there's one thing I learned in our week in South Korea is that the weather can be unpredictable. So the queen here is a super planner. She likes to have things sorted and ready just in case something happened. And that's why planning outfits for this trip was really difficult. We looked at the weather a couple weeks before and it said it was clear. Then a week before it said it was cloudy, and then it was rainy. And let me tell you, during our week, it was all of the above. There were days when I had a hoodie on, and there were also days where I had short sleeve shirts on.
There were days where I wore sneakers, other days where I wore sandals. It all depended.
So our most important tip about packing is to bring layers.
Yes, definitely just be versatile.
I wouldn't recommend bringing a heavy jacket, but having light, breathable layers to stack on top of each other will really help with your luggage, as well as not having too many things.
But if you are visiting during winter, definitely wear your winter coat. You don't want to be out there in the snow with no coat.
I definitely recommend to bring a lightweight rain jacket, just so you can carry it around just in case it does rain.
And whatever type of shoes are most comfortable for you, definitely bring those, because you'll be doing a lot of walking around.
Yes, so we visited different regions of Korea, and let me tell you, we got our steps in.
Also, be sure to pack your universal travel adapter, because they do use Type C and Type F plugs, so you will want to be able to charge your electronics, so bring that adapter. Also, it might be a good idea to bring an empty suitcase with you, because let me tell you, there's so many things you might want to bring back. There's so many handmade goods. There's so many great outfits. There's a lot of thrift stores to go and check out and just want to update your wardrobe. Also, update your skincare. There's so many different skincare shops and products. You're going to want to try them all.
Now, while that goes against everything I stand for, I will say that shopping in South Korea, typically a lot of the goods are going to be a lot less expensive than they are in the United States. And as a tourist, you can shop tax-free. Whether they do it immediately or you keep all the receipts and at the airport you find the VAT tax refund office, either way, you can save a lot of money by shopping tax-free in South Korea.
See the world, save a dollar. Has this video been helpful so far? If so, please give it a like and definitely subscribe. And if you're watching it within the first 7 days of it coming out, definitely give it a hype so it'll reach other people in the algorithm just like you.
Hype me up. Hype me up.
So now, where are you going once you land in South Korea?
So most international flights are going to fly into Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea. This is a bustling city with so much to offer. You have the old historic buildings as well as the modern skyscrapers. This city has it all.
My favorite part about Seoul was just wandering through all the different quaint neighborhoods. There were so many really cute coffee shops to go see and try all the different drinks and snacks, and that was definitely my favorite part.
My favorite part was visiting old South Korea, where we could see all the different temples and gates and palaces. You definitely want to make a stop in South Korea. The next place that we recommend is going to Busan. There are many different ways to get to Busan from Seoul, whether that's the bullet train. Don't worry, there's no zombies here. You also can take buses, you can take taxis, a private driver. There are many different routes, but we definitely recommend going to Busan. Now, we love Busan because it's along the water, so you have beaches, you have hills, it's colorful, it's vibrant, bright. Public transportation there is amazing, and they have some of the best street food in the world.
So you can also visit Jeju Island, which is South Korea's largest island, and just think beautiful beaches, mountains, waterfalls. If you're a nature person, that might be the place to be.
Also, another place of interest that you can visit from Seoul is going to the DMZ zone. The DMZ is a demilitarized zone, and it's what separates North and South Korea. As a US citizen, you can't enter North Korea, but you can do a day tour that takes you to the DMZ zone and learn about the history and the conflict between the two nations.
We cover all of these in our Explore Korea travel guide, which is linked in the description below, and it's also on choosetoexplore.com.
The next thing that we're going to talk about is something that we found pretty interesting, especially as New Yorkers. So if you guys know Liv or you watch our videos, you know every single morning with Liv has to start with coffee or tea. And I must admit, planning our days around the morning coffee was a little bit challenging here.
So most stores and cafes, they tend to open late. Think 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., that's a normal open time, which is much later than our itineraries typically would begin.
So we would normally be doing a bunch of things before Liv got her morning coffee.
But one lifesaver was the convenience stores. So we found GS25 to be open 24/7, and they actually have coffee inside of there. So yes, it's convenience store coffee, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
I actually love GS25 because it was so much more than the typical 7-Elevens that we have in US. They had so many different options for food. Whether it's snacks, it's microwavable meals, ramen, ice cream. We even found one GS25 that had a robot working and making pizza for us.
So you know I had to get the pizza.
So for all my night owls or early risers, find a GS25 and rock with them.
Also, if you need any cash, the ATMs and the convenience stores and the metro stations are reliable.
And the convenience stores is where we got a lot of our passes to get in and out of the trains, which we're going to talk about more. But this right here got us so far in South Korea.
So now let's talk about staying connected while you're in South Korea. And honestly, it was pretty easy because there's a lot of free, fast Wi-Fi just about anywhere. You can find it on the buses, the trains, the malls, the streets, and of course the cafes.
Now, while the Wi-Fi was great, we also did have eSIMs when we traveled, and we went with Airalo during this trip. And this is because we found unlimited data for 7 days for around 25 euros, which was pretty affordable for the unlimited data during our stay. So if you guys are interested in using an eSIM during your travels, you can find our unique link in the description below. So our next point is something that's super important in South Korea, and that's about their cultural norms and proper etiquette. So the first thing that we noticed, especially as New Yorkers, is just how clean the cities, the streets, the buildings, and everything is in South Korea.
Also, you'll find that the people there are very polite, they're quiet, and they're very orderly. So you definitely don't want to be on public transportation making a lot of noise. It's going to be quiet.
Yeah, we were riding the train, and we're used to seeing people, it's showtime, and dancing and spinning on the poles and, talking about like just acting crazy as New Yorkers, but you will not find that there in South Korea.
Everyone definitely is mindful of each other and is very respectful.
Until I was in South Korea, I didn't really know what I was missing in New York. The next thing about etiquette is something that was super strange to me, and that is that nobody jaywalks. As a New Yorker, jaywalking is just a thing. Like, when it's clear, you just walk. And it doesn't matter what time of the day, it doesn't matter who's around. Nobody will cross if it is not a walking sign.
Yes, I definitely very much appreciated this because I don't like jaywalking. I don't like taking the risk. I'm from New York, but I truly don't like it. So I'm so happy that we just got to wait at the sidewalk till the crosswalk sign turned on and abided by those rules.
Also, when you're going up the stairs or you're riding on the escalator, everybody stays on one side. It's honestly really refreshing. Everybody will stay on one side and then they'll leave the other side open just in case somebody wants to walk faster, so you're not holding up the line. So even if you are two people, stand right behind each other. Don't stand next to each other. That's just rude.
So I'm used to taking off my shoes when I come home, but they take it a step further in South Korea. You also sometimes take your shoes off when you're entering restaurants.
Even when we went to our different accommodations, we walked in, and a lot of times they would give us like disposable sandals or slippers to walk around in the house with. One thing that I also noticed about South Korea is that in their culture, they do not tip. When you see a price, that is the price that you pay. Even in nice restaurants, tipping is not expected.
So the next thing you have to know is that Google Maps really doesn't work too well here. It is available, but it's pretty glitchy and it really didn't work too well at all, so we wouldn't even recommend using Google Maps. Instead, we'd recommend using something called Naver Maps.
There were other direction maps that other people recommended to us, but Naver was by far and away the best one. When we first got there at the airport, we even saw billboards with Naver on it. So definitely download that Naver app to get around in South Korea.
So as far as different modes of transportation, if you are thinking about going long distances, you can consider high-speed trains like the KTX, which are fast and efficient.
Getting around the major cities like Seoul and Busan, public transportation is going to be affordable, fast, and really connected to get you around the city. That was our primary means of transportation during our time in South Korea. We found that using public transportation in the major cities was really easy. A lot of the times you could use Apple Pay right there on your phone. In Busan, we did use an app to get the unlimited pass to get around the different cities. And in Seoul, I know that we purchased one of these in GS25, and this really was super convenient to get around the city.
So you will see taxis around the different cities, but they will be your most expensive way of getting around. Uber does exist, but you may want to try out the Kakao T app to compare prices between Uber and Kakao T to see which would be the most affordable option for you to get around.
Also, while many people do take the bullet trains to go from city to city, we found an affordable and luxurious way of getting around, and that is really like a first-class coach bus. It was like flying first class, but we were on a bus. It had TV screens, we lied all the way back, we could put our feet up. It was so comfortable and relaxing, and while it did take longer, it was an amazing experience.
My favorite part about this was that you can recline back and you're not reclining back onto anyone else and no one's reclining back onto you. It's your own personal space. It's just like the best long-term bus I've ever been on. So in South Korea, everything just makes sense. We're going to talk about the efficiency and design.
So for someone who always wants to have a plan and know what's going on, South Korea is amazing, and the Queen loved it just for that fact.
It really makes it easy for anyone who is type A.
So in the subway, each one of the train cars is labeled, so you know which one is the best point to enter and exit. Even in the Naver app, they'll tell you to go to this exit at this stop. And this just takes you to the most direct way of getting to your destination, so you're not wasting any time. Also, when you do take the train, signs are in Korean as well as English, but one thing that I loved is there really is no confusion about which side of the door is going to open. Before you get to the exit, the door will light up. That way that you know to exit on your right or on your left, whether they're speaking in Korean or English.
Also, the sidewalks are lit up green or red at night, so you'll know if it's green, you're free to cross. If it's lit up red, don't cross.
Also, depending on the region that you're in, if it's really hot outside, you may even see umbrellas at the stop sign to protect you from the sun. Also, one thing that I loved about South Korea is how prompt and on time the buses, trains, and public transportation is. If it says it's going to be there at 7:45, you better be there at 7:44 because it will leave at 7:45 every single time.
So now let's talk about all things money in South Korea.
What I will say is that South Korea can be as expensive or as budget friendly as you want it to be. We found many places where we could dine for under $5 per person. We took public transportation and got unlimited day passes, super affordable rates, but we found a lot of accommodations that were over $400 or $500 a night as well. So depending on the type of traveler you are, South Korea has you covered.
So one thing that was very convenient was that they accepted credit cards and Apple Pay just about anywhere.
I will say that you still do want to have some cash, especially if you're going to go to the local markets. But I will say that it really impressed me because we even took a taxi our last day when we were rushing to get to the airport, and I only had like 2,000 won, which is like nothing. And I had to pay the difference, and the guy just let me Apple Pay him. So I guess it is possible, but you still want to have that won just in case.
Yes.
Our next point is going to be one of my favorite things about South Korea, and that's the markets. So in each city that you visit, the markets are where you're going to find local cuisine, affordable cuisine, clothing, household items, gifts, basically anything you want, head to a market. So even though you're going to find different markets in different regions of the city, you're not going to find the exact same items in every single market. A lot of the markets are going to have unique items in the shops. So be sure to do your research on what you want from each market. And each market is going to be so different, whether it's going to be a day market, a night market, the food items that they have, the products that they sell, or just what the market is known for will definitely vary. And while there may be vendors that do take card, we definitely recommend to have some won on you.
Yes.
Honestly, one thing that I love about South Korea is a lot of the food has some spice to it. And as a Jamaican, I love that. Some items that I loved is definitely the Korean fried chicken, the bibimbap, Korean barbecue.
And if you're vegetarian, you don't really have to worry because they do have options. I really enjoyed the japchae, which is a delicious noodle dish. And I also really enjoyed the haddock, which was kind of like a stuffed fried pancake, which we got at a lot of the different markets too.
Also, Liv and I get a lot of items from Trader Joe's, and I saw a lot of items that I found in South Korea that I didn't know were Korean. And this includes kimchi, the short ribs, the Korean bulgogi, the scallion pancakes. But my favorite, I don't even want to butcher this name, but it's like this noodle thing. It's in the spicy red sauce. It's like tteokbokki. Listen, if you're Korean, tell me in the comments how to say it, please.
But definitely everything in South Korea was flavorful and healthy, and you're going to put kimchi on just about everything.
Another thing that we're going to talk about is something that a lot of people actually go to South Korea for, and that's going to be K-beauty. One thing that I didn't realize before coming here is that Koreans really care about their appearance, whether that's their style, their makeup, their hair care. South Korea actually has the most plastic surgery done in the world.
So while you're here, you should definitely dibble and dabble into some of the beauty options that they do have here. So I had heard about the Korean scalp treatments, but I was a bit skeptical being a black woman with curly hair. I didn't really know if they would know what to do with my hair, but let me tell you, they knew what to do. And I had a really great experience, and overall, it was very affordable too. It was like less than $100.
Also, throughout the country, you're going to find many Olive Young stores, which are kind of like a Korean Sephora or like a Korean Ulta.
Or kind of like a dream come true. So while these stores are all throughout South Korea, if you're looking to do a beauty treatment like a scalp spa or a facial.
Or plastic surgery. If I come back with a new hairline, just know where I went.
He went to Gangnam then. So that is basically the central for anything really K-beauty. And lastly, we're going to end our tips with how to stay safe while you're in South Korea.
So honestly, we're going to talk about our experience in South Korea, and we thought that this was one of the safest places that we visited in the world. We found the country to be clean, organized, and we didn't feel threatened throughout our time. But there also are things that can go unexpected on your trip. And that's why we personally always travel with Safety Wing Travel Medical Insurance. We love Safety Wing because it's affordable. Typically, you can find a policy for under $2 a day depending on the time of your trip and how old you are. Not just you getting hurt and have to go to the hospital or have other medical expenses, it also covers if you have a flight delay, if you lose your bags, if your train gets canceled, Safety Wing has your back. And if you are interested in purchasing a policy, you can see our unique link in the description below.
Now, while we did feel safe throughout our time in South Korea, and we saw people leaving their electronics and devices unattended in cafes, so other people felt safe too, I would say just use your normal level of caution.
So there you guys have it. These are our top things to know before you go to South Korea. Did any of these surprise you? Please let us know in the comments below. So thank you guys so much for checking out our channel. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're rocking here with the Chews, and we truly appreciate that. So we definitely appreciate if you guys like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Chews out.